Buckle up, kids, it's time for some Kotor. You see, folks, back in the 2000s, Ryan, but a boy at the time, played the little-known game known as Kotor 2 TSL. Knights of the Old Republic to the Sith Lords. Then after that, he played the first Knights of the Old Republic game after multiple playthroughs, then getting them on PC and modding the absolute living hell out of them. For fun, little Ryan took the internet. He searched the darkest corners of it, every thread and article and post or comment that had any suggestion of a sequel, Kotor 3. He was so excited and held on to every word. In the Game Informer magazine years ago, certain people close to the Star Wars games said we haven't forgotten about Kotor, but alas, a sequel never came. Realistically, who wanted EA anywhere near such a beloved franchise as Knights of the Old Republic? I don't. Folks, it's time. A big rumor has surfaced. Far be it for me to comment on rumors, but this one is way too exciting to ignore. I don't normally do news blah, 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 blah. I don't normally do news here. No blah. I don't normally do news here. I have trouble speaking, but I want to talk to you. That's how excited I am. The site Video Game Chronicles has broken a rather large and possibly big rumor that suggests a sequel, or rather a new Knights of the Old Republic, is in the works, and not with EA, huzzah! Here's hoping another predatory company that is also toxic publishes it. That was a joke. Try to keep up. I'm gonna read some snippets of the article. I don't know why I went Australian. Then we'll briefly discuss as we go. Of course, the link will be down below if you want to read the article for yourself. According to multiple sources, including credited Star Wars Insider Bestman Bulletin, which states in a recent podcast that a new installment in the fan-favorite RPG series is indeed in development at an unnamed developer. It's been reported before that a new KOTOR game is in the works, but this is the first suggestion that it might be in development outside of its original creator, BioWare and EA, which until recently was the only major company making Star Wars games. Lucasfilm announced this month that it will be licensing Star Wars games to other companies, including Ubisoft, as part of its new games label. According to Bestman Bulletin and others, KOTOR is one of the titles that has been handed to a developer outside of EA. As well as citing its own sources, the Insider also references recent comments by Bloomberg journalist Jason Schreier, suggesting that a project related to KOTOR was in development somewhere unexpected. So it's pretty clear it means that the folks at Lucas Games are seemingly aware of how beloved the KOTOR games are in the memories of fans and have decided it was worth making a new game after almost 17 years. Fuck 'em old. Lucasfilm was also licensing out different Star Wars games to different companies since the exclusivity deal with EA is set to expire. If you recall, it was recently announced Ubisoft would be heading a new open world Star Wars game. Or Assassin's Creed Jedi. No? I thought it was funny. We are not going to guess what company or studio is handling it for now, which it's exciting regardless. Years ago, I would have begged and pleaded them to have BioWare make a new KOTOR game, but since they really have kind of fallen from grace, so to speak, I think this hopefully means whoever does take the reins does do it some justice. I think Obsidian would have been a good fit, but I think they have their hands full with other projects like Avowed, and I have a strong feeling of doubt that Disney or Lucasfilm would craft a Star Wars game these days that it's exclusive to PC and even Xbox platforms, considering Obsidian is owned by Microsoft. I think there's potential there for a lot of RPG developers or lesser known developers out there to put themselves on the map a bit. A lot of them really just need the resources to unlock their potential. Like for example, Don't Nod, for me, proved with Vampire that they can make a decent RPG. But what is holding them back, I think, is just some aspects of the mechanics and visual design, but there's potential there. Larian Studios would be a good one too, probably, but I haven't played Original Sin 2, but Original Sin is probably one of my favorite RPGs I played in a long time, and I hear what they're doing with Baldur's Gate 3 is just incredible. And from what I've seen, it looks good too. Continuing on. Another person who occasionally shares information on unannounced games, Nate Nadja of Wushu Games, Nadja? Hope I said that right. Corroborated the claims on a new Kotor game is in development. That a new Kotor game is in development. I can't read either, apparently. On Kotor's new developer, Nadja wrote, "It's not as mysterious as you think. It's just not a household name most people are aware of." So, the way I look at it is likely unless you're following the gaming world, you probably won't know the studio developing the new Kotor, or you might be in the periphery, but you won't know them as a household name. We might, like you and I might, but other normal people who are not obsessed won't. But really, I do think it's too early to speculate and to agonize over who might be developing the game, as we don't know anything about it, and I'd have to guess that it's probably pretty early on. One thing I will say I think has been taken a bit out of context. The assumption is that EA is being axed by Disney or Lucasfilms, but that's just not the case. In a few other articles you can read, the EA still has projects that are in the works, and the deal of exclusivity is just expiring for them. And that means Lucasfilm is going to be shopping around all their Star Wars games and properties to see who wants to make them. We are proud of our long-standing collaboration with Lucasfilm Games, which will continue for years to come, an EA spokesperson told Eurogamer at the time. So, no, EA was never being axed, they just aren't going to have exclusivity anymore. And again, I don't think it's entirely useful to speculate or go crazy wondering who is developing the new KOTOR. If you recall, there were reports over a year ago that we were getting some kind of KOTOR remake rather than a brand new title. And this next part of the article explains just that. Released in 2003, the fan favorite RPG from BioWare tells us Jedi vs. Sith story set some 4,000, I can't read. Released in 2003, the fan favorite RPG from BioWare tells us Jedi vs. Sith story set some 4,000 years before the rise of the Galactic Empire, featured in 1977's Star Wars film. Obsidian created a sequel, The Sith Lords, in 2004, and there hasn't been a mainline Knights of the Old Republic game in the near 17 years since, unless you count EA's 2011 MMO, The Old Republic. Last year, entertainment publication Cinelex, cited two sources having claimed that a KOTOR remake or sequel or sorts had been greenlit, presumed to be at Electronic Arts, after an earlier attempt at reviving the series had been shelved by EA. Now, I'm not joking. Years ago, after playing KOTOR 1 and 2, I used to do this. Everything that everyone's doing, I would agonize over every rumor or thread, speculating or talking about the potential third game because I love them so much. So my honest reaction is excitement, followed by telling everyone to hold your excitement for when we have more concrete information. And I'm not trying to be a buzzkill or kill your buzz. It's exciting and fun to discuss the potential ways they can go with it. Just beware of the hype train. Remember what happened to Cyberpunk. Yeah. I'm actually partially saying this for my own sake, but I am thrilled really that there's even a small chance of KOTOR coming back. Both games are legit two of my favorite games ever made. I actually just started another playthrough of KOTOR 2 the other day. I still go back and play these games sometimes. Hence why, if you noticed all the gameplay B-roll I have is from early in the game because I just started it, and apparently the Skip Progress mod is not compatible with the Restored Content mod, much to my dismay. Despite all the issues with 2 and not being a finished game overall, I enjoyed it just a tad more than 1, though they're both phenomenal titles, and I do hope whoever is taking the reins respects the legacy of these games. But that's really it, folks. That's what we know, so I throw it to you. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Are you excited for the KOTOR sequel or new KOTOR game? What do you think about the rumors, or is it too early to talk about it? It probably is. Fuck. As usual, if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If not, give it a thumbs down. Keep me honest. If you want to see more content like this, subscribe. If you don't, then don't. But, you're missing out. Thanks for watching. I love you. Maybe.